All right, today's lesson. All right, obviously your car needs fuel, right? How does it get there? This little bastard. This here's a fuel pump. He sits in your fuel tank. He sits in here just like, whoop, just like a diss. And he sits in there. He sits in the fuel. He sits in the fuel, right? And he sucks up the fuel and sends it there. Sends it, up to the engine. Before it sucks it up, it goes to this itty bitty little screen, which this one has a bunch of shit on it, which is like, right? So, but after this, there's another fuel filter after that to further filter out particles. This is the first one though. Also, there's not supposed to be all that rust. So we hop on in. We'll just gather in here and nice, right? But now I'll insert you and penetrate the tank. Look at that. Yeah. Let me ask you something. Should there be rust in the fuel tank? I'm sure you guys can figure the answer out to that yourselves. She sat overnight. Still looks the same, right? Right? That's vinegar. See this guy? You see that? That's why you brush your teeth, kids. Maybe I should start using vinegar when I brush my teeth. Now just add a little bit of that baking soda. As much as I would love to dive in and clean this tank right now, I'm not going to. Why? Not because of how beautiful and gorgeous this turned out. Also, this is all pretty much from the hose. The baking soda is to neutralize the acidity of the vinegar. So, look how beautiful that is. Look at it, right? I actually didn't use the toothbrush too much. I just kind of blasted it with the hose and bada bing, bada boom. But I'm not going to tackle this now. I'm going to tackle this tomorrow because as soon as I clean this out, I have to hit it with the water, right? And then there's going to be a film of water in there, and I have to let it dry out. And look at that. Look at that. It's not very sunny out. So I'll do this tomorrow when it's sunny and let this babe dry out. And then I'll go get fresh fuel, not dirty fuel. And then once this thing's in there, and then we can replace the fuel filter and then go to the gas station and everything will be fine and dandy. At least it fucking better be. Yeah. So it's hard to see without more light in here already, but trust me, there is a whole a whole lot more than that. I'm also gonna coat this with some this is the fuel pump assembly, so I'm gonna coat this with vinegar as well. I'm gonna let this sit in the tank and just let everything kind of soak. I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let's sit on there. Just kind of. I need a boat. The fuel sloshing back and forth. That's what this sounds like. I think I'm gonna come out here and rotate this every hour or so. All right, look at it. It's beautiful out. Today is the day we clean the tank and then install. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna flush out all this vinegar, and then I'm gonna pour baking soda in there and I'll blast that with water as well. And we're gonna remove all that gunk and see how well this stuff worked. So let's get started.
major.
Delicious. Okie dokie. After about a firm hour of blasting with a hose, we are going to blow out all the moisture and stuff. We're going to use the vacuum and just kind of put it in here and let it blow and let this thing cook out in the sun for an hour or so, and let it dry out, and then I will throw a little bit of fuel in it, switch it around, and install this back into the car so we can get this thing going. It is really clean. I'm going to have to put a phone video here, but came out way better than what it was. And then here is all the aftermath. So a bunch of this sediment. So, and then right down here is where all the glitter starts. Nice. All right, we are done. But we had many a trouble with the fuel filter.
Yes.
That's what that is.
So the fuel filter had a lot of gunk in it, as does pretty much every single part on this car.
Damn.
And, you know, had to put a new one in there, and there's like a bolt situation, a screw situation, like on the bottom, and it would not come off.
So the flange nut down here.
That.
Yeah. So that's what the big one's a 19, right?
Yeah, 19 and like 14.
14. So you see that? There's a 14 on the fuel line and then a 19 on the fuel pump, and we rounded off the 14 mil flange nut. We rounded it off because it was so hard to get off. So we loosened it up fine, and then it got loose, and then it got tight. And actually the same thing happened down here on this part of the car where the fuel line from the tank meets the fuel line to the main part of the car, the main fuel line down here. And so basically I had to get vice grips and clamp it on there and then unscrew it. And the new fuel filter went on just fine. So I don't know if that's a common problem or not, but that was something else. I was really worried that I was gonna have to get a new flange nut and like redo this fuel line, but mad props to vice grips. So got that on, and then just got to put the air cleaner assembly back in, and bada bing bada boom, good to go. And then I will do a little demonstration of what I did down there. Bloop. We're going to take a dive into the underside, the belly of the beast. So here is the spare. We're looking upside down from the car, right? So what we had to do to remove the fuel tank is undo the fuel, the plumbing for the petcock that goes up here, right? So this guy undid those. I couldn't do it from over there. He wouldn't come off, and I wasn't gonna take off those. I think they're 8 mil, but those Phillips, I wasn't gonna take it off from there. So I undid it from here. I was able to. So you have those, and then your other fuel lines, which are up there, which I'll get to in a second. Then you have 4 bolts. These are 12 mil. So you have 1, 2, and then over here, right by the exhaust, right behind this guy. I'm sorry, where is he? There he is. 3. And so this is a brace for the e-brake cable. This is the e-brake cable right here. And then same thing over here. The e-brake cable, and then 4. So you have those 4 that are holding it up, and then you have, these are the lines right here that go up into the tank. So you have your fuel line right here, then you have the fuel return, and then the evaporative emissions. So, and just disconnected those 3, and that was it. This guy also had the same situation up front, on disconnecting him and connecting him. So he would loosen up just fine, and then he'd get to a point where he was nearing the end of the threads, and it would tighten up, and it would just get really tight, and you'd have to like push on through. And I would like tighten it, loosen it, tighten it, and loosen it, and slowly work it back and forth, but it didn't make a difference. And then I eventually just kind of took it out, and it was fine. When I put it back together, I threw a little bit of oil on the threads, and it was happy. So maybe just because it's been sitting for like, hasn't been touched in 25 years. I don't know, but that's pretty much it. It was actually pretty simple. To get this out, I just disconnected all these fuel lines and everything, and then disconnected the bolts. I also, where is it? Over here in the heat shield, right here. This is a 10 mil. I just busted this loose, so the heat shield had flux in it, and I didn't even remove the exhaust. So I was able to basically drop the tank, and the tank was pretty much empty, so I let it hang a little bit on the exhaust. It wasn't too bad. Again, we only had a gallon of fuel in the tank, and then leveled it out. And so we had this end up, and I'll demonstrate and come out. So this is a fuel tank, right? We leaned it this way and then pulled it out, and we scooted it out that way. So it was not too bad. You have to have 2 people to do it to help you kind of finesse it around the exhaust if you don't take off the exhaust. But other than that, it's actually pretty simple. It's just really dirty under here. So tons of dirt. I've blown multiple times, and there's always dirt falling down. So very dirty, but actually pretty simple. Just the lines can be a pain in the butt. So that's it. This has been taken care of. Oh yeah. All right. So now, when we took out the fuel tank, I had already taken out the fuel pump assembly here. And these lines are actually pretty easy as well. This guy, this one, and this one. This is the same thing. It's the 19 and 14. These guys were pretty simple to bust off. So, but yeah, this guy is pretty simple. Apparently, the owner before me had replaced the fuel pump. I believe it because I can't imagine this being the original cover, because there are places for screws on here and stuff, but it doesn't even say Toyota on it. And it just, it fits over this, but it there's, I don't know. So, but yeah, we're gonna plug this up and fire it up and check for leaks, and then go to the gas station.
Shall never die. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. But he that believeth not shall be damned, Nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his. And let every one that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. God bless. Amen.